Okay, if I did that correctly, I should be live now. Okay, first off, let me see if I can figure out what the video URL is so that I can actually share the fact that I'm live with people. That would be a good start. How do I do this? Okay, we go here, we go here. We click on this. Here, we go here. We turn off the sound so that you don't hear double. We click on this. We share. Let's talk about stuff. The new pennies get and whatever else you wanna talk about. Okay, I post it on Twitter, and then I also share it on Discord. And yeah, I did the things. Okay, one last step before everything is ready. I have to go here, and I have to do this so that I'll actually be able to see the chat during the stream. Okay. This is really professional. It's always like this. I never do this right, but it's all right. Everything's fine. Why are you taking so long? Here, let's do this instead, so it's a little easier on the computer. Okay, there we go. Everything's good. Oh, hey. Hello, Starshine. How are you doing? Why isn't? Oh, yeah. Thank you. So this is Michiru. And I thought it makes sense. Thank you. I thought it makes sense to use this one because this is the avatar that subtitles had in this video. So, like, this video mostly stems from Argama, really, because first off, it started, like, the original idea from it came from the fact that Argama wanted to see if she could, like, make Michiru in Vroid. So that's what she did. She made a Michiru model in Vroid, and I really liked the Michiru model, and I was wondering if it would be okay if I made a skit with it. So she gave me the Michiru model so I could make my skit. But then she also helped me in another big way, which is that she actually made storyboards that I used for this skit. So this skit has like a ton of... You're doing really good. I'm glad. I hope you have a good day. So this skit has like a ton of camera angles and stuff in it. And a lot of that stemmed from her giving me like the storyboards. So I was doing my best to follow her storyboards throughout this. And that was kind of challenging because a lot, like, first off, it was just very time consuming because I had to do a lot of filming for this skit. I had to film from a lot of different angles. But it was also challenging because I had to figure out how to do various things. Like, I had to use Luppet, Mutiny, and VC Face at various points in the skit. And over the course of it, like, I was already pretty familiar with Luppet, but I wasn't particularly familiar with VC Face or Mutiny going into this, so I had to kind of learn both of them as I went. So like, from the very first scene, this is...
Diagnostic complete. Reactivating. Huh?
First off, I tried to time the music so that...
Reactivating.
So that the first, like, beat of the music happened as soon as she opened her eyes, because I thought that was kind of cool. But this was fairly easy to do. This was just like a close zoom in with Leopard. Then this scene over here is VC face. Um, and the reason why it was VC face is because I have leap motion. I don't Leap motion is this thing that allows me to basically use my hands in skits or well videos in general. But I rarely use it because it's really janky. So um, so basically for this, I just kind of I tried to use it a lot more. Like I tried to use it in other scenes too, but it's just way too unreliable. It makes your hands like jut out all over the place. It makes your hands go inside your body. It's just really hard to control. But VC Face does it a little better than Luppet for me. And the reason why is because VC Face actually has it set up so that you can tell it that your leap motion is like on like your desk as opposed to on your neck or whatnot, because I don't have a thing to hang it for my neck. So that helped a lot. Um, and uh, that made this part possible, where she's just kind of looking at her hands. Um, like that's about as good as
Oh,
I
this is
could do with leap motion. I can't do like significant hand motions with it. That was the extent of what I could do. Also, VC Face allows for more movement typically than Muppet, so any scene that had like the body moving around more uh, was better for VC Face. Like this was also VC Face, and the reason why is because VC Face actually lets you like set up where the eyes are gonna be. So I had it set up so that she would look over her shoulder, whereas I couldn't get that to work with Muppet.
Subtitles, you'll never guess what I
Which I really like. I like this whole like turning the eye and looking over the shoulder thing. I think it's a good shot. I want to do more of this in the future.
you made a new body.
I made a new body!
Yeah.
Oh, you figured it out.
Yes, Pin.
I also had a little bit of movement here so that it looked like she was turning around to make things consistent.
Master.
And I really liked this smug of this like kind of smug look that Michiru has on her face in this scene. Subtitles Michiru, I should say. It works really well, I think. So yeah. Uh I think this was done I think this was also done in VC Face. Um here's another tricky thing. Like whenever there's two characters in a scene like this, you have to film both of them separately, and you have to kind of hope that their eyes will align correctly so that they're looking at each other. And that works kind of okay here. But if we go forward a bit, to like this scene, for example, Penning oftentimes is looking over Michiru instead of at Michiru. And like at a certain point, you just have to kind of live with it. Hey, Lorela, how are you doing? Because like there's as it is, this skit probably took me about 20 actual man hours to do, like 20 hours of actual work, not counting like breaks or like sleeping or whatnot. Like actual time that I was editing, this probably took about 20 hours as it is. Hello, Cural. I know you go by another name too, but hello. Um yeah, I'm glad to have you both here. We're talking about the new pending skit. How are you guys doing today? Thank you, Laura Law. It's a lot of work making these. It's a lot of work. It's like um the way that you know that I'm passionate about making these is because I've been doing this for nearly 2 years now, and it's a lot of work. And like like it's a lot of work. it's not as if like this is a job or anything. Like I'm not getting paid to do this. I do get some money from Twitch from like people who sub, and some people have been nice enough to send me like cookies. So that's really nice. But like the amount of time I put into this relative to like the payoff, like the like I it wouldn't make sense for me to do this unless I was enjoying myself, because it's just it's way too much work to justify it unless I was enjoying doing it. So the Avatar is based on an anime, right? Yeah, it is. It's based on an anime called BNA, which BNA stands for Brand New Animal, and it's a really really good anime. I enjoyed it a lot. It's made by Trigger. It's on Netflix, I believe. So if you guys want, you should check it out. And if you like this model, you can actually buy this model if you so wish. It's made by Argama. It's on Booth. If you go to the video description, not of this stream, but the video description of the skit, uh, it Argama is selling this model on our Booth page. So you can buy this model if you want. Um, yeah, Laura, that's a big part for me too. Is I want to tell an overarching story. Like I want each skit to be relatively self-contained in the sense that you can watch the skit, and even if you haven't seen any of the other pending skits, you can like understand what's happening for the most part. Um, but at the same time, it's important to me that I'm telling like an overarching story. Both are important, really, because for what like it's important that any skit can be kind of a jumping on point, because like if someone were to watch a random skit and they're just confused, they're likely to click off, and then you know you never grow. You never get new people don't kind of start watching it, and especially now that this has been going on for almost 2 years, to expect people to watch almost every skit is a big ask, and it's something that I know isn't happening because like the earlier skits don't get that much in the way of views. um, I do have a compilation of like just skits that I think are important to pending lore. If you just want to watch those ones, but I ideally want to set it up so that you can start at any point and get the gist of what's happening and enjoy yourself. That's the ideal. So yeah, you're definitely doing both. Thank you. I saw Argama use that model in one of her streams before you used it. Yeah. Argama actually made this model like I think a month ago. This skit is one like sometimes the time between a skit being written and a skit actually airing is as little as a week. This skit I think was written about a month before it came up. Um, like when I wrote this skit, I think I actually wrote this skit before either before subtitles had officially gotten her body or just after subtitles had gotten her body. So when I wrote this skit, like later on in the skit, subtitles has her text to speech. This was actually like when I had wrote this. Like the idea was that subtitles was going to actually be in text to speech form in a semi regularly. Like she wasn't going to have her model used in every single skit. But as it's happened, her model has actually been used in like every skit since she first got it. So this was actually the first time since subtitles got her body that she had reverted back to text to speech. So it was kind of a little nostalgic for me. Um, what do you think of BNA, by the way? I liked BNA a lot. I was super into that anime. I watched the English dub of it because I'm a filthy casual and I always watch a dub of an anime if it's at all available to me. Um, so I can't speak to the Japanese subbed version specifically, but the English version was really, really good. And I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the English voice acting was very good. And yeah, I would really recommend it. The only thing is, I hope that it gets a second season. Because while I don't think it's necessary for it to have a second season, I certainly would enjoy a second season. Yeah, we're both casuals. I mean, I want the option to look away from the screen while I'm watching something. Because I want the option to potentially be doing multiple things at the same time. So that's why for me, the dub is always the choice that I will go with if I have a choice. Because yeah, sometimes I'm gonna be working on something. Sometimes I just don't want to constantly look at the screen. Sometimes I just don't want to look at the bottom of the screen. Like I want to be able to take in the artwork, and I feel like in a sub version, if I'm like reading the subs at the same time, there's like a barrier between me and the actual visuals because my eyes are drawn to the bottom of the screen because that's where the vital information is. So like I feel like you gain something by watching a dubbed version of something as opposed to a subtitled version. But obviously, it also depends on what the quality of the dub is. It depends on if there's things being lost in translation. So there's a give and take there, but just generally speaking, I really enjoy dubbed versions. Um, so yeah, she also makes a reference at the end of this. I'm skipping ahead, but she makes a reference at the end about how she feels like her subtitles are different from normal. And the reason for that, like the reason why her subtitles are different from normal, is because her subtitles are red, and Michiru wears a red jacket, so it there were parts of it where they blended together. So I gave her subtitles like a white border just to compensate for that. That's not the first time that I've changed subtitles to compensate for something on the screen, um, but that's just like something I did for this skit in particular, and I made reference to it afterwards just because it's been so long since subtitles was in this form, and I figured it was worth acknowledging that it does look different. My brother prefers dubs because he's dyslexic. That makes a lot of sense. That's a good that makes a lot of sense as to why you would prefer it. So I was saying earlier that like a lot of this was done in three different programs. It was done in Luppet, it was done in VC Face, and it was done in Mitane. One and I mentioned already that like uh, a benefit of VC Face is you get additional like movement, and leap motion tends to work a bit better for me in VC Face than it does in Luppet, though leap motion doesn't work great regardless of the program I'm using. I knew something seemed a tiny bit different. Yep, that's why. Sorry, that's why. I had a bit of a hiccup there. So yeah. But I didn't mention already why I would use Mitane at all. By the way, Mitane I tend to call it three treen because it's spelled three like the number three Tene. But apparently it's pronounced Mitane. I don't know why, but it just is. So I actually wanted to use Mitane more than I ended up using because the one thing about Mitane that it has over both Luppet and VC Face right now is that Mitane has like preset poses. So typically speaking, short of using some kind of like body tracking, be it leap motion, which really only tracks your hands slash arms, or like a or like full body tracking like a Vive, which none of the three programs are compatible with a Vive. I think the only way to use a Vive that I know of at least with like a VTuber model would be something like Deet's Tracking World or some other kind of like custom Unity uh, program. But so typically speaking, your only option is to have your character standing, and you can change their angle. You can have them lean back and forth. You can have them move a bit, but they're gonna be standing, and that's just the way it is. But Mitane has preset poses. So to give you an example of it, of a preset pose, I'm trying to find it here. Where did I put it? Okay, it would be. Okay, it's going to be over here. So
that way, if you didn't want the body,
you can see Penning and Subtitles are talking,
And you
then
don't
in the
see anything wrong with you giving it being its own
Michiru
personality and then trying to suppress it by having me occupy its mind?
Why?
Her walking is Mitane, because Mitane had a looping animation where your character's walking, and you can continue to do the tracking with it, so you can look around while the character's walking, and you can even do lip syncing during that. Though I didn't, because she doesn't have any dialogue there. So Mitane has that going for it that the other programs don't have right now. I believe VC Face plans to do that eventually, but it's not there yet. The one thing I wish, though, is because there was certain scenes where Michiru was supposed to have her arms crossed, which I assumed would have been one of the poses that Mitane has, but as it turns out, Mitane doesn't have that pose. So I couldn't do that. Hey, Tinkle! I would have loved if I could, but I couldn't, so I made do without it. So yeah, that's something that I might take advantage of more later on. The fact that Mitane does have those preset poses that you can use, and also once VC Face gets them as well, I'll use some of those too. What I'd really love is for someday for you to be able to just pose the character yourself, and then be able to have your body track after presetting the pose, customizing the pose. That would be really cool. Right now, I don't know of a program that does that. MMD, I guess, kind of does that, but then MMD doesn't do lip syncing or anything, so you'd then have to manually lip sync, and plus you'd have to do it frame by frame with MMD. So MMD is it's a powerful program, but it's also an insanely time-consuming program, so it's not practical for what I'm doing. You're learning a lot. I'm glad, Laura. I learned a lot making these skits, and this one in particular I learned quite a bit doing, just because there was a lot of new things I was trying with this skit as far as different poses go. So you can see the background changes a bunch, and I try to keep things consistent background wise. So Michiru's in the green, so I had to flip the background a couple times, because sometimes Michiru's on the right hand side, sometimes Michiru's on the left hand side, but it's because because we're filming from a different camera angle. So she's back on. So even when the perspective's flipped, hopefully there's some sense of consistency there, because she's still on the green side and Penny's still on the bluish purple side. And that's part of the reason why later on she's walking around, because in the previous scene, she was on the green side, so she was on one side of Penny. But in the next scene, Penny turns his head and looks around, and you can see her moving too, or rather, you can see she's on that side of Penny now. So because she changed sides, I wanted to show her walking from one side to the other to make things consistent. So that's why I did the walking animation in the first place. I have used MMD in my last video. Just 20 seconds was so much. Yeah, I can't, 20 seconds of MMD, I can't even imagine how long that took you. Granted, I don't have much experience with MMD, so for me, I'm sure it would take even longer, but like MMD, as powerful as it is, it's just not practical if I want to make skits at the pace that I'm going. I like at a certain point, like I want the skits to be as good as they can be, but I also want to make the skits consistently. So certain sacrifices have to be made for the sake of like limiting how long it takes me to make these skits, and that's why MMD just isn't practical. By the way, I also want to point out that while we're kind of jumping around here, uh, uh, so one joke I really wanted to make is that when subtitles leaves Michiru's body, Michiru starts speaking in Japanese. Uh, I can't really speak Japanese, and even if I could, I wouldn't particularly want to provide the voice of Michiru because Michiru is like a teen girl, and I don't really have a teen girl voice. Um, so instead, I asked Sui Ren if she would provide the voice of Michiru. So like for example, here's
The Michiru body's still moving.
this is like,
ここに来る記憶がないな。無理してたか?
so like this is an
Is it
example of Sui Ren voicing Michiru, which I think she did an amazing job of. So how that worked is I asked her like if she'd be okay with me giving her a script that was in English, and then she would just say, she would do her best to say the equivalent line in Japanese. Do I know what she's saying? Yes. So I don't know exactly what she's saying because I don't know how much Sui Ren took in terms of the liberties as far as like how much she changed the meaning from what the script was. But so Michiru's first line is, "Huh? I don't remember coming here. Did I maybe sleepwalk?" And then Michiru's second line is, excuse me, Catboy, weird floating text. Do either of you speak Japanese?" And then Michiru's final line is, "Well, if no one understands me here, I should probably just find my way back home. Goodbye, strange people." So that's what Michiru says. But Sui Ren turned that into Japanese for me and then voice acted it. So I am very, very grateful that she did that. That was super helpful. And yeah, Sui Ren is really, really nice. She's done a ton of stuff for me, both as Sui Ren and back before she was Sui Ren. No problem, no problem. I'm glad to share like little tidbits and stuff. That's what this is all about. Sharing like behind the scenes stuff, maybe giving people an idea of how skits are made if they want to do this themselves, or even if they're just kind of like curious about what goes into making a skit. So any questions you guys have about the skit or about like making skits or really about anything, we don't have to even talk about the skit if you guys don't want to. We could talk about anything you guys want to. So yeah, that was a big help, and yeah, like I said, Sui Ren has been in a lot of stuff, both as Sui Ren and then before she was Sui Ren. In fact, if we include the pre-Sui Ren stuff, I think it's probably fair to say that she's been in more pending skits than anyone else. I don't know that for a fact, but I think if I were to count, that would probably be the case. So yeah, I'm very, very grateful to her for that. I'm trying to think of what other stuff I could talk about with this skit. Editing wise, the skit didn't have like a lot of complicated edits. It was mostly the filming that made it complicated. Like if you look at the timeline here, this timeline isn't that complex. By the way, this angle here is apparently called a worm's eye view, which like is the opposite of a bird's eye view. It was meant to show off Michiru's tail. Because obviously during the scene, Michiru is looking at her tail.
Yeah, but it's not one of those cool tails with a poison stinger on the end. Do you have any idea how hard it's going to be to kill anyone with this tail?
No.
So Argama in the storyboards like suggested a worm's eye view for this part, and then I did my best to have it so that subtitles Michiru is looking at the tail, which I think I accomplished there. So that was good. This is like a nesting shot. This isn't a particularly complicated shot, but I nested it so that the background and the and Michiru would move proportionate to each other. Which, by the way, so later on over here, I didn't like. Typically speaking, when I'm moving everything at once, I will nest them together for convenience sake. I didn't do that here, and the reason why I didn't do that there is because the background is bigger than what you see on screen. As you can see, like as the screen moves, the backgrounds move, so you're revealing more parts of the background. And I do that, and I made the background that way intentionally, so that I could have all these different camera angles, and so that you could look at it from different perspectives, and so that there could be character movements, and like the background changes as the characters go around. So that's the reason why the background got updated like 5 or 6 skits ago. The problem with nesting something is that once you nest something, the background is locked to just what you can see. So if I had nested these all together and I started zooming to the right rather than revealing hidden background, it would have just revealed blackness. So that's why I had to try my best to have everything zoom in proportion to each other, and that makes a little bit of consistency issues. But I did my best to like use like markers, so like I knew roughly where pending was with relation to like the lines on the background, and I tried to keep it consistent so that penning would stay in roughly the same place, and I tried to keep the distance between Michiru and penning roughly consistent too, so that way it didn't feel like things were moving at different speeds, because that would kind of mess with your eyes if they did. So I had them all move. I tried to move it all consistently, and while it's harder without nesting them together, in this case that was necessary. And I really liked this effect. I really liked the effect of
Goody!
talking,
すみません。
and then there's Michiru who's moved from one end to the other. So this was probably the hardest effect in the skit, and the one I liked the most. And I think that's basically all the things that I did for this skit that were kind of different.
Oh, your new friend just abandoned.
I really, really like this skit. I think it's probably the one that was the hardest to make, at least to date. So I hope you guys enjoyed this skit too. Do you guys have any questions? I know this was kind of like a short tutorial, but because so much of this was had to do with the filming of it as opposed to the editing of it, there wasn't like a whole lot of complicated edits or whatnot to talk about. So I don't know if you guys have any questions or anything you want to talk about while we're here. Yeah. I guess one other thing I want to say is that the next video that's likely to come out is another one of the 7boys 2 highlights. We've continued to play that on Twitch. It's been pretty remarkable. It's certainly been a interesting experience, these 7boys 2 playthroughs. So yeah, I'm gonna have the next installment of that out. Unfortunately, those videos don't do too well, but I really enjoy like these. I'm really enjoying just the absurdity of Seven Boys 2, so I want to preserve that anyway. So you guys are likely to see more of those come out. Um, and yeah, and then after the Seven Boys 2, I have another skit that's planned. Of course, I have another skit that's planned. Uh, uh, and uh, that'll likely be one that I'm doing with Harney, and that'll be another fun one. It'll involve Harney, who in the Penning lore is an app on Penning's phone, um, and it'll involve Pen Pen, who, if you guys don't remember, Pen Pen is the answering machine. Um, who if I could show you it. Um, which of these is it? It was probably called something like Pending Answering Machine. Or maybe it was just called Answering Machine. I don't see it in these. Oh yeah, Pending Answering Machine. Here we go. Yeah. Thank you, Laura Laws. I did create a little side story in my head where the Michiru accidentally ended up on my world Draconis. That sounds nice. I like that. Although I think you're likely to see the Michiru model again, because I have a tentative plan for what's going to happen with the Michiru model later. This is, by the way, if you guys hadn't seen the answering machine yet, this Chibified pending over here, whose name is Pen Pen, this is the answering machine. So he's going to make another appearance. Yeah, exactly. It's a super adorable answering machine. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So there's going to be that. Then I think I know what skit comes after that one. And then after that, I'm not 100% sure. I want to get started with the Pending Goes to School arc. But I'm also kind of nervous about that arc because whenever like I do something that involves a bunch of other people, it's hard to say when it's going to come out because like the more people it involves, the longer it'll take to get uh, the recordings for it. Although it really depends because some people are really fast with getting me stuff, and I'm super grateful about that. Um, but it really does depend, and like I guess the thing is like the more people you involve with a project, regardless of what kind of project it is, the more people you involve in a project, the more variables there are to juggle. So yeah, the school arc kind of has a lot of things to juggle. And then I also tentatively wrote some stuff with Q, but Q being like Penning's counterpart. So I was thinking about aging up Q, but Q might ultimately remain a 10-year-old girl to be the counterpart of Penning, who is a 10-year-old boy. And Q is the counterpart of voiceover. So like Penning and subtitles are always together. The idea is that Q and voiceover are always together. And I've mentioned Q a few times. For the student one, maybe you can fill in students. Well, the idea was that I was going to use other VTubers to serve as the various students, and I've talked to other VTubers, and there are other VTubers on board with the idea. So hopefully, because I asked them a little while ago, and I haven't followed up with it yet because I've been like slowly building the Penning story to the point where there would be the school arc. So, but I think at this point I'm close enough to the school arc that I really should actually write the first part of it, and then show it to the people who would be involved in it and hopefully get their green light on the script, and then like things are ready. What about the teachers? The teachers will probably also be VTubers. So it'll involve a bunch of people. We'll see how it goes. It's the school. The thing about the school arc is not every Penning skit is going to involve Penning being at school. The idea is sometimes Penning will be at school, sometimes Penning will still be in the void. I do have people in mind, and I have asked people, but I don't want to name names just because if they end up backing out, I don't want it's I don't want it to look like this. I don't want to like make it look bad for them that they decide to back out, basically. So I don't want to put any sort of undue pressure on them by saying that they're going to be in it, and then it turns out that they're not in it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but that's the basic idea behind the school arc. So yeah, I'll probably get started on writing that relatively soon. And as far as the Q stuff goes, I'm not 100% sure because first off, I need to commission the model, so that'll take time and also money, of course. And then I need to find someone who will voice Q, which is also probably the thing that scares me more than getting the model. And yeah, so I'm not sure when Q will come out, but Q is something that I've been planning for, and I've wrote like a kind of a pilot skit for her, as it were, which would be interesting because it would be the rare skit that doesn't involve penning at all. So it's entirely possible that it'll be a skit where I don't actually provide any voices for. Though I really like the idea of having skits that don't involve penning. I like the idea of like the channel and the skits growing to a point where penning doesn't have to be in every skit. Like, for example, with this subtitles, with this answering machine skit, penning doesn't appear in this answering machine skit at all. It's got subtitles in it, and it's got Pen in it, and granted, I do voice Pen. So it's not as if I'm absent from the skit from a voice acting standpoint, but penning the character isn't in the skit. So for me, that's kind of cool. Oh, and it also has voiceover in the skit. I forgot about that. Voiceover is at the beginning of the skit as well. If I had my stuff ready for VTubing, I could be the science teacher. Though one difficult... and then... Oh, I think it's back. Okay, we're back. Can you guys see me now? You can see me now? Excellent. Yeah, so I was saying before, that, one of the challenges with the school arc... Hello, Amiki. You guys can all see me now? Great, okay. One of the challenges with the school arc is because of the nature of VTubing, it's a lot easier to find people who can play teachers than people who can play students. Because almost every VTuber is an adult. And it makes sense because they're an adult in real life, so of course their VTuber character is going to be an adult. Very few people want to portray a kid. Even in the cases where their characters look very young, they're still technically... they still list themselves as being adults. Like, very few people actually... So very few VTuber characters look like kids, and for the most part, even the ones that do look young enough that they can pass as kids, they still say that their characters are adults. So finding people that are that can like serve as the students is kind of harder. Although there are some people that can. Uh, Possibly Laura. Kid versions of characters might work, yes. In fact, I think I'm gonna do a bit of that. So I think I'm gonna do a bit of like people whose VTuber characters might not look like people might use VTuber characters like kid versions of their VTuber characters for the purposes of the school arc. So like their normal characters are adults, but they're gonna portray like kid versions of themselves. Is what I'm tentatively thinking might happen. We'll kind of see. We'll see what happens. But that's like the tentative idea, and hopefully that'll work out. Yeah. So that is the school arc. I don't know exactly when that'll be, and I don't know exactly when the Q thing will be. But those are two of the major things that I'm planning out right now. And then also we haven't seen Stickman in a while. He first debuted in like the same skit where Subtitles got her body, and we haven't seen him since, but we will see him again. If you guys don't know what Stickman is, Stickman is let's open that project. I think it's called Subtitles New Body or something. Oh, okay, it's this one. So yeah, this is Stickman. He appeared briefly at the end of one of the skits. You guys are gonna see him again in the not too distant future, and he's going to have a somewhat not a regular role, but he's gonna have a recurring role going forward. Yeah, he's a man made of sticks. Which, by the way, this Stickman model also made by Argama. She named it Pending's Nightmare. I can't remember why. I can't remember why she made this model specifically. But yeah, this model is also made in Vroid, which kind of shows you like the various like you can make some models that look pretty different in Vroid. Like Vroid, I think is a more powerful and flexible program than people give it credit for. Especially if you augment Vroid with Unity, it's just a question of knowing how to do things. Like Argama made a video recently showing like something you can do in Unity to like make things appear and disappear using blend shapes. And give me a second, I'm gonna find that video so I can link it. But then I'll also show you like an example of it. So this is the video in question if you guys want to watch the tutorial at some point. But give me a second. I'm also going to show you guys what it looks like, and I'm just going to hide Michiru for a moment because we are going to go to pending. And unfortunately, I don't have Leap Motion plugged in right now, so I can't show it as well as I otherwise could. But like, here we go. But let me show you pending again. Here's pending, and you can see like with this version of pending, I can like make a cookie appear and disappear, and I can also wear sunglasses, and the sunglasses track with my body, just like the cookie would. You can't tell that the cookie's tracking with the body because my arms aren't really moving, but the cookie will like move with my body. So like I made a little video where I eat the cookie. And yeah, those are some things that you can do with Unity. which are cool, which I really like. Um, and you wouldn't think that that's possible, but like there's a so basically like the tutorial will show you, the tutorial I linked would show you how to do it, but basically these are blend shapes, which are blend shapes are the things where basically they're button press triggers. So like for example, this is Angie pending. So that's an example of a blend shape. Hey Mila, how you doing? So yeah, Angie pending is an example of a blend shape. Just as Cool pending with his oversized sunglasses, this is an example of a blend shape. And yeah, these are things that you can do on Unity. There's a lot that you could potentially augment your character with in Unity. So yeah, Vroid has a lot that it could potentially do. And I'll switch and I'll hide pending again for a second. Feeling like a dry cookie? I would love a dry cookie. I love cookies. I hid myself again for a second because I'm switching back to Michiru. Man, I always want cookies. I have some double stuffed Fudgios right now, so those are really good. I wonder, should I like make a video where I talk about my favorite cookies, like my top 5 cookies? The problem is like picking a top 5 is really hard because oftentimes you are the best cookie. Thank you. Thank you. I try really hard to be a good cookie. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah. So it's really hard for me to pick like my 5 favorite cookies or whatnot because like what my favorites are gonna kind of change depending on what I've eaten recently. Cookies are awesome. Uh, Depending on what I've eaten recently. Like if I've eaten too much of a cookie recently, then I'll want to eat something different for variety's sake. Or if it's been a while since I've had a cookie, then that cookie will go up in my mind. Like I think one of the reasons Mega Stuffed Oreos is probably amongst my very favorite cookies is because I can't get Mega Stuffed Oreos in Canada. They don't really sell them here. So like I can only get them when I go to the States. And why not do a top 20 favorite cookies? I could potentially do that. I could do like, rather than do a like favorite cookies list, maybe I could just list like a bunch of different cookies that I like. But there's so many cookies. There's so many good cookies out there, guys. And like, oh man, I had access to more cookies. You know what else I like? Oreo ice cream. Oreo ice cream is amazing. Can someone can someone find for me Oreo ice cream? It's hard to come by. It's not everywhere, but it's really really good. And if you guys haven't had Oreo ice cream before, first off, assuming you can, because I know like some people can't because of they can't have like lactose or whatnot, and that's perfectly fair. Like don't make yourself sick. But if you can have ice cream, have Oreo ice cream. Or yeah, exactly, Laura. Oreo ice cream is so you. Wait, Mila, do you live in Switzerland? Do you live in Switzerland? Because Switzerland has amazing chocolate, and I want Swiss chocolate so much. I there's some Swiss chocolate that you can get in Canada, like Lindt chocolate that you do sell in Canada. So I partake in that. Lindt chocolate bars are amazing. But oh, you live in Switzerland, man. Switzerland is like um a dream place for me to go. Someday I can send you virtual chocolate. Please do. Please send me virtual chocolate. I will virtually eat it. Yeah. So Switzerland, like someday I want to go to Europe, and when I go to Europe, I just want to like hit up like the countries that like sell like amazing chocolate. So like I'd want to go to the UK. I want to go to Belgium. I want to go to Germany. I want to go to Switzerland. And while I'm at each country, I just want to load up on as much chocolate as I can. Because man, there is some amazing chocolate in Europe, and Switzerland in particular has amazing chocolate. I wonder if someone could make pending themed cookies. If that would be like okay. So I'm doing the pending skits for fun. Like obviously I want to see the channel grow, and it would be so amazing if someday like I could actually do this as my job as opposed to as a hobby. Like if this could someday become a job for me, that would be amazing. But that being said, like the most pie in the sky, like the most like, oh man, wouldn't it be nice like if I could just like thing that would be like an indication that hey, I've made it is if at some point I could have my own pending like brand of cookies. That would be like the most amazing thing in the world to me. So yes, I would love pending themed cookies someday. In my town, there are 3 chocolate stores that make their own chocolate. That sounds amazing. I would love to go there and visit those stores. Uh, mm-mm. We have a chocolate train that goes on the chocolate tour. A chocolate train? That sounds so cool. Hello, Morq. How are you doing? Michiru is cool. It's cute. By the way, I mentioned this earlier on, but this model is made. This Michiru model is made by Argama, and she sells it on booth. So like, if you guys want to have it for yourself, you can do that. This model is available. This model you can buy it. This isn't like a model exclusive to me or anything. This is an Argama made model that she is generously letting me use. But like I don't claim ownership over this model. This is Argama's model that you can buy for yourself if you so choose. Um, a friend of yours might be able to. Make a pending themed cookie? That would be amazing. I would love to see a pending themed cookie if someone wanted to make one. I remembered that one of my a pending themed cookie would almost have to be chocolate based, by the way, because both me and pending love chocolate. I remembered that one of my folks had an Oreo ice cream chocolate cake for their birthday, and it was so delicious. Yes, I love Oreo ice cream cake. Uh, I hope she makes Akko some days. I'm not familiar with Akko. Let me Google Akko so I can. Is Akko also from BNA? Is she the other girl from BNA? Because let me Google this so that I know who we're talking about. Akko. Oh, from okay, I know. From Little Witch Academia. Yeah, Akko would be a really cool one to make. Yeah. Akko would be really cool to make. I think Akko would certainly be one that Argama would be open to making if there was like demand for it. Like if like it would kind of be in her wheelhouse. Like Akku's got like the witch's hat, which of course Argama can make. She's got like a cool hairstyle. I believe Little Witch Academia is like a show that Argama likes. So I certainly think like uh it's within the realm of possibilities that someday she'll make that one. I don't know for certain. Like obviously she's very very busy, and like the easiest way to get her to like the best way to like kind of ensure that she will do something is to commission her, because she has a lot on her plate with commissions. So like if you commission her to make a model, like then she's uh that then Ozar, like she will accept the commission when she has an open slot, and like you can do it that way. But yeah, I think that's one that is within the realm of possibilities. that she might make it at some point. She did Adventure Time themed cookies one time. Oh, that sounds really cool. Adventure Time is a show that I've seen like an episode or two of, but I really should get into at some point. Because I've heard really good things about it, and for what I've seen of it, it seems like a show that I would like. It's just one that I've never really gotten around to like sitting down and watching. But in some ways, I feel like I would like it for similar reasons that inspire me to make the Penguin skits. So I feel like that would be a good one for me. But yeah, it would be cool. Watching Little Witch Academia. Speaking of, is also a show that I've been meaning to get around to watching. Right now, though, I am currently getting through the Dragon Prince. I am on season 3. I'm about a third of the way through season 3 now. If you guys haven't seen the Dragon Prince yet, I would recommend it. Especially if you liked Avatar: The Last Airbender. Who's your favorite Adventure Time characters? I don't really feel like I've seen enough of Adventure Time to really say. I've only really seen like an episode here or there, so I can't like I can like point out the characters, but I don't know that I know them well enough to pick a favorite. But yeah, The Dragon Prince is a show that I really like, that I recommend people watching. It's by no means a perfect show, and I would say that if you haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender, I would recommend that show over The Dragon Prince. But it's a pretty cool show. There's a lot of interesting things going on. There are 4 more seasons planned for The Dragon Prince. Yes, yeah. I saw that there's 4 more seasons. So we're really only now at like the halfway point of what's planned for the series. Which is cool, because I think that there's a lot more story that could be told with that one. The pacing of it is pretty slow, which is both good and bad. It's good in the sense that it gives you a chance to really get to know the characters. It's unfortunate in the sense that like each season leaves you wanting a lot more. So that part is kind of sad. Like I guess really it's not the pacing that bothers me. I just wish that there was more than 9 episodes per season, because I feel like 9 episodes per season really only barely scratches the surface. So that part's unfortunate, but it is what it is. For what it is, it's really good. Have you seen a show called Steven Universe? I haven't seen it yet, no. Though I think that's another show that I really should watch, but I haven't seen it. From what little I know of Steven Universe, it does sound like a show that I should watch, but I haven't seen it yet. Does anyone have any other questions before we wrap things up? Because I should probably eat breakfast, lunch at this point, which I guess is brunch. I guess then that's it. Thank you guys very much for being here. It's a beautiful show. Be prepared for feels if you watch Steven Universe. I will be prepared. At some point, I'm sure I'll watch it. At some point, I imagine I'll watch it. So, yeah. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me. And I hope that you enjoyed the skit, and I hope that you enjoyed the skits to come. Like I said, I got more stuff planned. The next video will probably be a highlight pack of whatchamacallit, of 7 Boys 2. And then after that will be the skit that I'm working on that'll involve Harane. Thank you, Mila. Thank you, Mila, for being here. And yeah, thank you all for being here. And yeah, have good days. Oh, actually, before we go, give me 1 second. I want to check something really quick. Okay. So, there's something I want to do. Okay. So, like, as you guys know, there is no such thing as like raids on YouTube, which I think is unfortunate. I hope at some point they make raids. But I one thing I like to do is at the end of it I like to provide a link for someone that we can watch. So we're gonna do a little bit of a YouTube raid if you guys are so interested, and we're gonna watch. The person I'm recommending is Seiko. She she recently applied to be a partner on Twitch, and she is really really nice. She's like a super nice and wholesome person. So if you guys want to watch, she's currently playing Fall Guys. And yeah, so if you guys go do this weird kind of YouTube raid of Seiko, I hope you enjoy her stream. Regardless, I hope you guys have a good day, and I will see you guys soon. You'll need to finish your lore notes on your universe before bed. Okay, well, yeah. Good luck with doing your lore notes. I hope that goes really well, and I will see you guys all again soon. Bye bye. Bye bye.